Hi there, I'm Sci-Fi Cheer Girl, and today we're going to take a look at my hair lacing routine. For background, my natural hair texture is fairly tight coils. My sides are shaved, with the edges reaching my ears and the longest section hitting between my shoulder blades. I typically stretch my hair with a blow dryer and comb attachment to prepare for braiding, and depending upon the final look, I also straighten my hair with hot tools for maximum length and smoothing. For daily hair lacing, I use a generic satin ribbon because of the strain that linen tapes can cause on my hair, which is already textured. For costumed events, I have a selection of woven linen and silk tapes to coordinate with my impressions. Today, I'll be using the linen. Hair lacing is my preference for work and when I'm wearing full head coverings. After blow drying, I keep my hair in twists to preserve the length until I'm ready to braid it. Even with the shaved sides, it's pretty thick near my scalp, so I have a fair amount to manage. I make sure to comb or brush out my very uneven ends that are in need of a trim to keep them from puffing out too much at the end. I part my hair down the center as evenly as possible. I'm using a brass hairpin to make the part, but a comb or even my fingers will do. Since all of my hair will go under some kind of cap, it doesn't need to be perfect, just close enough to keep the braids around the same size. Since I'm doing this solo, I use a hand mirror to check the back. I've decided that's good enough, so I can now pin one section out of the way. First, I brush out again and position the first section of the hair above and slightly behind my ear at the hairline. I'm securing the linen tape with my teeth to keep it from going too far off center of the part. Because my hair type tends to stay where I put it, I keep my hands parallel to the floor or higher at the start to ensure that I can manipulate the direction of the braids for the next part of the process. If I start braiding them down toward my shoulders, I won't be able to easily fold the braids back up, so for me, it's best to go in the direction of the final style. At the end of the braid, I tie the lacing back on itself to keep it from coming undone. Time for the second half. You'll notice that I'm constantly smoothing and coaxing my hair right at the beginning of the braids to get all of the strands to stay together. Any pieces that get missed or come out during styling will slowly revert to my natural coils and puffs throughout the day, so I'm trying to avoid that even though none of this will be seen while I'm out and about. Once both sides are done, I arrange the braids at the top and back of my head. I secure one side of the tape to keep that braid taut while I start the lacing. A bodkin is added to the other side of the tape, and I start at the edge of my hairline, weaving from front to back. After the second side is laced, I would normally wrap the excess around my head to the front and tie both ends together, but my hands and head are not cooperating, so the quick fix is folding the tape ends into a little bundle behind the braid and securing them with a hairpin. Again, this all goes under a cap, so it can be a little messy. I use this version of hair lacing when any hair forward of my ears is on display, as it is when wearing something like an attifet or French hood. In addition to the center part, I make a second division using the front of my ears as a guide. I make my best effort to keep that part even, then pin up all 4 sections to get started. The hair in the back is braided and laced in the usual way, and I sometimes supplement with loose braiding hair to increase the fullness under a close-fitting cap. I won't be using loose hair today, but the process is nearly the same as adding linen tapes, just thicker. I managed to include the center part of the tape in my lacing, which makes the back a little cleaner. The ends are wrapped around the bound hair and tied off at the side. It's time for the front. This first section is my take on a later period style where the front forms a sort of heart-shaped puff. I brush and smooth the hair down, then roll up from the ends and secure it with a spin pin about an inch from the center. Working down and slightly back toward my ear, I continue shaping and pinning until the roll is secured to itself with the spin pins, since I have no anchoring hair on the sides of my head. This can also be achieved by leaving the front sections to dry naturally into my coils, but I prefer to control the shaping manually, keeping the texture uniform. The second section of my front hair is my take on earlier styles, where I can use my top length to cover the exposed scalp on the sides of my head. I simply smooth the hair over my ears and pull it to the nape of my neck. When I'm doing this properly, I can braid the two ends of front hair together and pin them in place. Today, I just give the end a little twist and use modern bobby pins to secure it. And just so that you can get a visual on how this might be covered, I've grabbed one of my fancier headdresses. The bag covers the bound hair in the back, and the point of the brim sits along the center part for both hairstyles. The piece is held on by the braids, so it doesn't really need anything else. When I'm being super extra, I add pearls attached to U-pins. These are just popped into the diaphanous cloud of hair with a little tuck. And that's it. Thanks for joining me today.